Quadrillions of dollars. That's right. Quadrillions of dollars are going to be hitting these networks in the coming years. Currently speaking, 25 billion. Not even a single trillion is on chain right now. And you might think that I'm crazy saying quadrillions of dollars. This is the global reset. This is that reset that we were talking about a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4+ years ago. And it's happening. This is the internet of value. This is what Ripple warned us about. This is what all of these big banks were telling us. And guess what? We're in it. We're in the beginning phase of this. The second that a dollar touched a public network, that's when it officially started. We have $25+ billion on chain, and this is just the beginning. Now, when we think about XRP, the number on XRP has been quickly growing, up 34% in the last 30 days. We're sitting at about almost $160 million. And if we actually look at this, we could scroll down and we could see exactly what's up in the last 30 days. The open-ended T-bill vault, this is US Treasuries, up to $45+ million. And then the Ondo short-term US government bonds, that's also up to $30+ million. And then outside of that, we do still have a few other things on the XRP ledger, but I want you guys to realize that this is still just the beginning phase. Like, we have yet to actually see almost everything flood the XRP ledger. It's the same reason why we only have 2 stablecoins here, even though that we know that there's like 5+ stablecoins confirmed to be on the XRP ledger, and that's, over the coming weeks and months ahead. The XRP ledger continues to grow in tokenized value, and I do believe that it's going to be home for, billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions, and eventually trillions of dollars. Now, when we think about that, I also think that XRP itself will be valued in the trillions of dollars. And you might be wondering, well, Nick, why do you believe that? Why are you so confident in that? Because if we think about how much money is out there that will flood this space, and if we think about the XRP ledger and XRP, it's been in this space for well over a decade. It's been absolutely killing the game. Institutional players love XRP and the XRPL. Ripple is essentially force-feeding the XRP ledger to institutional players as well in terms of institutional DeFi use cases and even tokenized use cases. If we think about what's coming to this space in the coming years, these types of projects that are like fully based on utility, that have real-world value tied to them, these are the future. XRP will be valued in trillions of dollars. When there is trillions of dollars moving over these networks on a day-to-day basis, and we see the demand of some of these networks growing in a rapid pace, that will significantly impact the underlying gas token, aka XRP, because it powers this network. Now, when we think about what's happening, we just witnessed the SEC Crypto Task Force to announce that they're going to host a series of roundtables across the US. And this is actually let's actually open this up real quick. Let me just look at this. This is with some of those major efforts that we recently witnessed. For an example, I'm sure that tokenization is going to be a big focus. But if we actually look at the quote here, we want to hear from people who were not able to travel for the roundtables that took place this past spring in Washington, D.C., and may not have had a voice in past policymaking efforts. The Crypto Task Force is acutely aware that any regulatory framework will have far-reaching effects, and we want to ensure that our outreach is as comprehensive as possible. And this is very interesting because, again, when we think about what's going on here, we now have an SEC that wants to work with this industry to make sure that they get this right, because guess what? If they don't get this right, it means that the US will fall quickly behind the competition. This is a global tech race at this point, and it's a global race to get this right, because if we can have hundreds of trillions of dollars on chain on US, or at least labeled US-based blockchain networks, then that means that the US is winning. And that's why we're focused on XRP, HBAR, Stellar, Algorand, these types of networks. But on top of this, if we go over here we have from Caroline D. Pam. Today, I announced the CFTC will start a crypto sprint to work closely with SEC Paul Atkins and Hester Pierce to achieve SEC Gov Project Crypto and deliver on President Trump's promise of a golden age of crypto. America is back. Again, the CFTC is a part of this. We already know that the CFTC, specifically Caroline D. Pam, met with Ripple back in 2022. We are witnessing the shift. And also, when we think about Paul Atkins, he confirmed that all the money is coming on chain. Big shout to Subjective Views for this. We're not talking trillions. Think quadrillions. And I just want to take a second. Think about how much a quadrillion dollars is. We can't even fathom $1 trillion, let alone a quadrillion dollars. Guys, we are talking about a massive amount of money still left to touch these public networks, still yet to touch crypto, a market that has not even $4 trillion in market cap tied to it. Guys, whatever you're thinking, however bullish you are, think 100 times bigger than that. We are in the beginning stages of the largest global revolution in history. There's an effort to make the US the epicenter of this on-chain financial revolution. So betting against American-made crypto companies is unwise. And yes, I agree. This is why we are focused on Ripple. This is why we're focused on Stellar, Hedera, Algorand. If you are not locked in right now, you are missing the big picture, which also includes a massive amount of money. Now, on top of this, we have over here from Dom Kwok. I did include this. I want to bring this back up because I did include this in a video recently, but what we heard from the SEC, we need to listen to this and repeat it. Paul Atkins said that Wall Street and Silicon Valley companies are lined up at their doors to tokenize. And even when we look at this, we know that every single one of these big players from Blackstone and Goldman Sachs, you name it, they all want to tokenize. And guess what Vlad Tenev called this? Justin, Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev says tokenization is the foundation of the new financial system. It's no longer a secret. We are ushering into the new age of finance. This is the global reset at large. Now, on top of this, the SEC is starting the initiative to move all markets on chain. This is confirming what Subjective Views said. Big shout to Smoke Dog. Here is the tokenization total addressable market. Global debt, 187 trillion. Real estate funds, 20 trillion. Private equity, 7 trillion. Securities, 42 trillion. Trade finance, 12 trillion. Total, 268 trillion. The thing is, though, and this is nothing against Smoke Dog, because trust me, I understand where he's coming from with this. This number is not accounting for derivatives. It's not accounting for global real estate values, because real estate itself will move on chain. Yes, it does include real estate funds, but global real estate itself is valued at 300 plus trillion. This number, multiply it by 5. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the value, the true value that we are going after. But these are great markets to look at as well, because again, all of this is already moving on chain. We already have real estate on chain. We already have, securities on chain. We have trade finance on chain. We have stocks on chain. All of these markets that we know of are moving on chain. And a big player here, the DTCC. They just announced this on the 31st, the same day that we got the SEC talking about all the money moving on chain. The DTCC, the Great Collateral Experiment, wasn't just a demonstration. It was a strategic preview of what's next. Smart contracts, automating collateral lifecycle, foundation for scalable production grade infrastructure. Check this out.
Yeah, this is the beginning of something extraordinary. When you can do a high fidelity collateral process, so the smart contracts actually encode the entire process, the full life cycle of collateral as an object, which then through composability can be embedded into other objects, like a repo transaction, which is, again, a repo is a form of lending. It can be embedded into other lending processes, whether it's trade finance, as an example, or even a mortgage loan. You can take the collateral component. In the case of a mortgage loan, it would be the title to the house, and manage that entire process and embed it in a larger financial process through the power of smart contracts. Each one can be a smart contract. So we're looking at repo, securities lending, margin accounts, clearing operations, derivatives as the next step in this big experiment where we are able to automate so many aspects of institutional finance, starting with this basic building block.
And think about how crazy. I mean, this is coming from the DTCC, bridging TradFi with DeFi. Yeah, this is clear confirmation of where we're headed. Why do I say that? Well, again, we're thinking too small when we're thinking about trillions. The DTCC processed $3.8 quadrillion worth of securities in 2024. In 2022, just in a 2-year difference, they added $1.3 quadrillion to this value. These markets continue to grow. These values continue to grow. These big players just continue to expand and scale. And the fact that the DTCC is talking about smart contracts and how we're about to move on chain, again, we go to this link. Welcome to the future of collateral management. As distributed ledger technology evolves, we're uniquely positioned to reimagine collateral infrastructure, unlocking new efficiencies and transforming the future of collateral mobility. And again, this is tapping in to blockchain, DLT, tokenization. The DTCC's collateral app chain provides a solution that enables financial institutions to tokenize assets using any tokenization capability. Like when we look at what's going on here, the biggest names in the world that are moving almost all the money, $3.8 quadrillion, they're moving on chain. They're tapping into the new technology. I don't think people realize just yet how big this actually is. In the coming years, crypto holders will become extremely rich to the point where they will no longer have to worry about money at all. And I don't say that to get your hopes up or to sell you guys the used car. I'm telling you that because of what's happening in this space right now. We have watched over the last 8 months as everything in crypto has evolved in a massive way. The US market for crypto has completely blown the doors off and flooded this space because they want to make sure that they are a crypto leader. They want to get behind this technology. They want to make sure that the US is a crypto hub. I've talked about this and I've been talking about it since going back to 2022 when the UK first said that they wanted to become a crypto hub. We knew that the race was on then. And today, we can clearly see that in action. And guess what? When you have the SEC, the CFTC, that presidential admin, the DTCC, all of these big players telling you, guess what? All the money is moving on chain. You better bet that all the money is moving on chain. And right now there's only $25 billion on chain and the XRP ledger only has $160 million tied to it. We have a very, very exciting journey in front of us to go on, and I am very excited for the future of this entire space, including even XRP, because these are the networks that will be valued in the trillions of dollars. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.